With the back just a little bit. I couldn't lift my so it's going to be interesting. Don't do it again.
Well, it went through the whole.
I got one. How are you, buddy? All right. I'll be okay. Yeah.
Good evening. At this time, I'd like you to please rise and face the flag in right field. If I can do this right, for the playing of our national anthem. Please remove your flag hats. Face the flag. Thank you. I invite you to sing Sweet Caroline. I invite you to grab a seat or stand as you would. We have a short presentation this evening. Welcome. My name is Jeremy Kovash, and I have the honor of representing the Perham Home Run Club and the baseball community tonight. I had the privilege of knowing Elston Howard, Howie Kangas in many capacities. As the head football coach and leader of young men in Perham, as a teacher, as a mentor, as a colleague, as a player, as a referee, as an umpire, as a gambler, as a Christian, as a father, as a husband, as a sharer of great books, and most importantly, as a friend who was always there. Elston Howard Kangas was born on September 3rd, 1957, to Leonard and Hilma in Detroit Lakes. Not surprisingly, he carried the name of famous Major League and Negro League catcher and coach Elston Howard. Elston Howard was, by the way, the first African-American New York Yankee. Our Howie, however, grew up in Wolf Lake. As the 11th child in a family of 12, he and his 8 brothers developed a love for baseball and hockey and football and basketball and boxing and any competitive sport at a very young age. He attended Frazee High School, where he excelled in football, basketball, and baseball. After high school, Howie furthered his education at Fergus Falls Community College and Concordia College in Moorhead, where he continued his baseball career and became the team captain. Howie married Terry, who is with us tonight, and they were blessed with 2 daughters, Erin and Maria. Together they lived here at Perham, where Howie was a beloved and respected elementary Phi Ed teacher and coach of football, baseball, basketball, and softball. He spent 19 years as the head football coach of the Perham Yellow Jackets before becoming the head coach of the Wadena Wolverines. Over the years, thousands of kids earned special nicknames from their adored teacher and coach. As an amateur baseball player with Wolf Lake, stories are still told about his exploits on area's diamonds. Some might have been slightly exaggerated. In total, Howie coached well over 70 seasons of sport and was elected to both the Frazee and Perham High School Hall of Fames. Howie passed away on June 8th, 2023. In his 65 years on this earth, Howie taught many of us countless life lessons. And this evening, I'd like to share the top 3 that have profoundly impacted me. Lesson number 1, the very first lesson I learned from Howie: Cove, it's not about you. I met Howie as a 22-year-old, and those were some of the first words out of his mouth. Howie constantly reminded us that true leadership and success come from the selflessness and focusing on others. The game is for kids to play and parents and fans to enjoy. As a coach, Howie always preached playing the game the right way, hustling on and off the field, playing with tenacity and competitive spirit, being a modest victor, and keeping your head up in defeat. Every baseball team he coached began a season by learning how to run on and off the field, a lesson in respect that was often taught without the use of gloves. Isn't it impressive that a field bearing his name will teach these values to the youngest among us? I know one thing for certain. If Howie were alive today, we would not be here. He would not have ever let this happen. It was not his spotlight. It was never about him. It was always about others. It was always about kids. My second lesson: every child or player has a role and deserves to be taught, coached, and loved. I'm going to start with the Psalm. Psalm 127, verses 3 and 4 reads, "Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are children born in one's youth. Blessed is a man whose quiver is full of them." And I can't think of a man who had a quiver more full of arrows of youth than Howie Kangas. We are here today because Howie loved children, all children, not just the fast ones, not just the strong ones, not just the smart ones. And looking out of here, that's pretty good, not just the smart ones. All children, every single one of them. Howie believed in the potential of every child and made sure they knew their value both on and off the field. Along with his notorious nicknames such as Matt Honus Wagner, Sweet Lou Brock, Running Luciano, and the trio of names specifically for the Rock children, Kid Rock, Little Rock, and Third Rock from the Sun, Howie found a role for each and every player he coached. From the star player who learned how to keep a scorebook or warm up the pitcher, each and every person had an opportunity to succeed and become a valuable member of the team. Some might shag foul balls, some might bunt, some might hit home run, as Howie liked to say, but all were equally important and respected. All kids were to be taught and coached with 100% effort. All kids, in Howie's mind, can succeed. And the third lesson, one that I try to take with me every day, that I tried to instill in my own children: grab your lunchbox and go to work. Get up in the morning, grab your lunchbox and go to work or school. Howie exemplified dedication and hard work, inspiring all of us to approach our responsibilities with diligence and passion. Many a napkin or notebook was filled with baseball lineups, football plays, and bunt defense scenarios. I can remember many late evenings with Howie, sometimes a little too late, sometimes returning home from a game, perhaps even a really tough defeat. And Howie reminding the players and the coaches that the most important thing to do is to wake up in the morning and get to work. wake up in the morning and go to school. When you're a little sad, get up and go to school. When you're a little tired, get up and go to school. When you're a little hurt, get up and go to school. Life is not always easy, but showing up is of the utmost importance to lifelong success. Just like all humans, Howie was not perfect. He was simple but complex. He was silly but wise. He was funny but serious. At the end, not perfect, but perfectly Howie. He always came through when we needed him with his "I will get this job done" attitude. At this time, I'd like to direct your attention to my left as we unveil the sign commemorating Howie Kangas Field. At this time, I'd like to introduce Howie's brother, Merlin Kangas, who has a few words from the family.
I just want to thank the Perham community for the memory for honoring my brother with this beautiful ballpark and the sign here and just giving him this great honor. He would not want this honor. You know, that's just Howie for you. The guy was, he loved kids. One thing, Howie loved three things. He loved his family. He loved the kids that played for him. And he liked half-time smoke break. He just had a good sense of humor. He was good with kids. And this is really a blessing to our family as a whole to see how Perham has honored this guy's memory. I'm proud to be his brother, and he did our family very, very proud. And we just thank you guys for all coming out here. I thought there was going to be 20 of us, and this is odd that just his memory could draw this many people. I'm awestruck. I thought I was going to be talking to the Sailor Boys and Kovash, and that'd be about it. But I just thank everybody for coming out, and from the bottom of my heart, from Kangas family, thank you very, very much for honoring my brother.
And now I'd like to introduce to you Perham head high school football coach and athlete coached by Howie, Jesse Hine.
Honored to speak tonight. Howie played a huge role in my life, not just in football, but just all aspects here. I'll kind of go through three different, magic number tonight, Jeremy, 3, right? There we go. So I'm going to kind of talk about how Howie impacted my life as a teacher, a coach, and a friend. Right? So I was one of those people who was blessed with a nickname from Howie very early in my childhood, and out of nowhere he looked at me and said, "Hey, there's Captain Hine." And from then on he called me Cap Eye until the day he died. As a teacher, no matter what the game was in Phi Ed, Howie was the greatest at it that ever lived, and he would tell you that. If you walked by the gym at any certain time, you could see him playing air guitar, dancing a two-step to the radio, or swinging a broom handle like Mark McGuire and watching the imaginary ball fly over the fence. In high school, he always told me how lucky I was to not have to compete against a guy like him. Otherwise, most outcomes would be different. As a coach, he was the best leader I've ever played for. He demanded your best, but was your biggest supporter at any moment you needed him. As much as he stuck to his guns and was confident in what he did, he wasn't afraid to make a change, whether that be taking your starting quarterback out at halftime, moving up a young kid when they needed a guy, but he didn't do anything that put any kid in jeopardy ever. He had the kid's best interest in mind always. He never took credit for anything good that happened on any of his teams. He gave all the glory to the kids, okay? And in defeat, he definitely bared the whole thing. He was a player's coach, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to play for Howie. As a friend, it's definitely unique that from 5 years old to now teaching in Perham, he was a long-term sub in Perham when I was teaching there. There were times in the middle of my reading lesson, Howie would come in and draw up a football formation right on the board, and the kids are looking at him like he's writing Mandarin Chinese, but it didn't matter. If Howie had something on his mind, he wanted to hash it out real quick and get it taken care of. He always kept in touch, even after I graduated, came back to Perham. Definitely gave great advice, even when it wasn't needed sometimes, but most times it was. He was truly a selfless and humble man. Right after I got hired as the head football coach, he emailed me, and what he told me definitely will stick with me for the rest of my life. He said, "Who you choose to be close to you in this program matters more than any decision you will make as a coach." And I'm forever thankful that I got to be one of those people for him. Any young player out there, when you get the opportunity to play out here on this field, know that you represent something greater than yourself. You represent your team, your town, and you represent Howie. Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce Howie's wife, Terry Kangas.
I think I'm the last one, right? I'm the last one, so it's almost over. I'm just going to be really short and sweet. I even have a couple notes. Thank you, like Merle said, thank you all so much for coming to honor Howie. I don't want to cry, so I'm going to try to say this quick. I know, knowing Howie, and you've all said it, you know, he would be looking down on us right now and be just appalled that this is what we're doing here. He'd think it's a big hullabaloo about nothing, you know. But I think it is a real deserved honor, and I'm really proud of him. I'm not the, he was always my hero, but I was really surprised at his funeral and to just know how much people loved him. So thank you. I mean, it means so much to me. My daughter Erin couldn't be here tonight, and she's really feels bad about it, so I hope someone is in charge of taking or making sure she gets a picture. What I want to say is, I really love this sign. I was talking to some friends, and this sign, it says under it, you can't see it real well, it says win without boasting, lose without excuses. And I found that quote in Howie's notes. And it's not his quote, but it was a quote he had heard, and it became his quote. He thought it was really, you know, the essence of what he was trying to teach kids. And because without saying it, it's really telling us to care about others, right? I mean, when we lose, don't make excuses, because that just makes the winner, you should be happy for the winner, right? And when we win, and we should not make the other person feel bad by boasting, and it was just essence of Howie. I think that's perfect. I'm not sure he'd like the big head thing, but he always thought he had kind of a big bulbous head. So he didn't. But no, it was great. It's beautiful, and I think he would be very, very honored. And for him, I just want to thank you so much. And one last thing I want to say is, what I really think this says, win without boasting, lose without excuses, is care about others. How he really cared about others. And whether you were young, which was mostly what he worked with, was the young, but it could have been older too, people you worked with, he cared about them, and he would stop and ask them how they're doing, and he really wanted to know. He really cared, and he would want us to carry that on. And just that example, I think that is what Howie was all about, caring about others. So anyway, I just want to thank you all so much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you to Terry, Merlin, and Coach Hine for sharing with us. In closing, I would be remiss if I did not thank the Perham Home Run Club, the Perham Athletic Association, Perham Schools, Fred Saylor, the City of Perham, and Perham Parks and Recreation for making this dedication possible. Finally, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Terry and Howie's amazing family for sharing him with us through the years. You shared him with us, our kids, all kids, and our communities, not just Perham, all kids and all communities. In closing, Howie had a voice that could fill a stadium and a laugh that filled our hearts. Thank you for joining us this evening. Play ball. If you need to come up, we'll get this cleared up for a picture under the sign. That'd be awesome. Thank you.